Hey guys, welcome to my video about ScoutIQ, which is an app I use to source books. And I thought I would go through and share with you how ScoutIQ works, how the triggers work, and how you can use it to really turbocharge your book scanning and book sourcing. And basically what I use is the database only app, which we'll talk about in a moment. But you can definitely use the database or live app as well. If you want to find a link to ScoutIQ and to download the app for a free 14-day trial, you can find a link in that in the description of this video. So let's get started. So when you first log in, you'll see a screen that looks something like this, and it's got several options here. So the download data, if I hit that one, you'll see there's an option there to download the database and test the database. You can scan different ways when you're out in the field. One way that I like to scan is to download the entire Amazon catalog database that ScoutIQ thinks is worth sourcing from. And it only takes a few minutes to load when you're on Wi-Fi. I highly recommend you only do it on Wi-Fi though, because it will definitely eat up your data if you're on cellular. But you download the database, and that way you don't have to have a cellular connection when you're out somewhere, which is really nice because you never know when you're going to be somewhere without that kind of connection. Next up is the settings. You can see here there's different settings about always awake to always have the app up and ready to run. Audio is nice because it makes two different sounds with an accept versus a decline, which is pretty nice. You can also have it set to vibrate. And again, you can see I have mine set for database only, but you could choose data and live or live only, whatever you want to do. But we're going to leave that on database for the moment. All right, so the next part is probably the most important part. What you see are the triggers. Now, the triggers are what tell ScoutIQ whether or not you should accept a book or reject a book. And you can see they're broken out. There's many different triggers you can set up here, up to 12 different ones. And they're by something called eScore, which is basically the proprietary score that the ScoutIQ folks use to figure out how many times a book is sold in the last 6 months. And you see there 151 plus. That means it's sold 151 days or more out of the last 180. At least 151 of those days, there was at least one sale. And then you can see it goes on down to 115 to 150, 74 to 114, and so on and so on. Next up, you'll see the sales rank, 1K to 50K. Obviously, 1 is the best rank on Amazon, 2 is the second best, and so on. And then broken out in different tiers there. And then target profit. So let's drill down into one of these. So you can see here, you've got your eScore at the top, your sales rank at the top as well, and you can see which FBA offer to analyze. Now, 1 is the lowest, which is the best, or the first rather, and then you can skip 2, 3, 4, 5. You can skip different ones. The reason you might want to skip them is because somebody might be really lowballing the very best, the very lowest offer on FBA, and you may not want to compete against that price because let's say that they have on there that they're going to sell it for $7, and they're not really making any money on it. And if you were telling the trigger to analyze that particular offer, then it would tell you to accept. And you really don't want to do that. You want to look a little further down and see if you could sell this book for a little bit more money. So that's why it's saying you've got this one set for the 4th offer. Of course, you could change that to the 5th highest offer as well. But that's really something you can play around with and see kind of what your accepts are like. So just kind of keep in mind that a lot of times you don't want to compete against the very lowest offer just because, or you don't want to accept the lowest offer just because that particular offer might not have much profit. Used offer to analyze, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the 10th or the 15th through the 20th, which is nice. So that can be pretty high. Now the reason it's going so far down that list is because this is trigger 1. These are the best-selling books on Amazon, and you don't mind going a little further down the list to see if it's worth it. Compared to the used buy box, you can play around with that. There's different theories about whether or not that is what you should do because the buy box changes when that copy sells sometimes, and then another offer comes along and takes the buy box, but totally up to you. Discount from Amazon, you see 10%. You definitely, usually for the most part, don't want to price right at Amazon's price, but sometimes you want to be a few percentage points off of them. And some people would argue that the higher the rank, the worse the rank the book, the more of a discount from Amazon you want to take because it's a really good chance Amazon's going to sell that book if it sells at any time in the near future. So you want to be at more of a discount to that. target profit, this is probably the most important part. Now, target profit's going to be different for everybody, but that's your profit after you've entered any cost of goods. If you want to enter that, we'll talk about that in a minute when we look at the actual scans. But you can set that to be whatever you want. Like, so let's say that you value, the time to process a book. Let's say your average cost for books is $1, and your time to process a book is $1. And you want to make at least $1. So that's $3. You would want your target profit to be at least $3 in that case. I have mine set kind of low for $250 right now. And the reason I do is because these books that are in the 50,000 K rank and better, they sell really, really quickly. So I'm willing to accept a little less profit on them because I know it's going to be a fairly quick flip. I'm not going to hold them. I'm not going to get storage fees for the most part. Most of these books are going to sell within the first month with no problem. And so I'm willing to take a little less profit on them, but you can play around with that. It kind of depends on other factors as well. But for the most part, the better the rank the book, most people will take a little less profit on it just to get the quick flip. And then, of course, always reject products in this range. You can set that up so that if you don't want to even worry about books above a certain rank, say 1 million or 2 million or 5 million or whatever your criteria is, you can tell it just not to even accept those at all if they're in that sales rank. And then you can see we go down the list. There's 115 to 150 and trigger number 2, sales K rank 50K to 125, target profit 3, and then 350 for the third one, and so on. You notice that the target profit is going up as we go. These are actually the triggers that ScoutIQ comes with, and they're pretty good. They definitely won't steer you too wrong as long as your cost per book is not too expensive. But you want more and more profit for the most part as you go up in rank because you're probably going to sit on that book longer. You might incur more storage fees. You're going to have to wait longer to get your money back. So it sort of makes sense to get more profit out of them. And then as you go on up the rank, I could theoretically source a 6 million to 10 million book if it had a target profit of $60. Not very likely. I leave these alone for the moment, but you could probably go ahead and go in there and say, hey, always reject books above maybe even 3 million to 6 million might be too high. But again, totally up to you. It allows you a lot of functionality. So the triggers are really great. And now let's see how they work. So when we go into the Scout screen, this is where you're actually going to scout a book. And you see here it says scan an item or tap the scan icon below to get started. Now, if you have a Bluetooth scanner, you can pair that with your smartphone and you can scan very, very quickly and that will enter the numbers right there in the barcode, and it'll go ahead and start pulling them up. I found you can easily scan 500, 600, 700 books an hour if they're in good, if they're sorted, they're in good order, if they're organized. Some people even claim you can go as high as 1,000. That's very possible. But this is where you'll actually see. So I'm going to scan a book, and I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to actually get my scanner for any of these because I want to leave the keyboard open. I want to be able to just show you kind of what it looks like. I'm going to show you what this first book looks like, and I'm going to open up the scanner screen, and you can see this first book is called Cracking the ACT 27 edition, and we're going to turn it over. So if you're in a store and you scan it, the barcode would be here, and you see it comes up. Now, the way you read this screen is it's set for FBA right up here at the top, and you see it has a profit of $376. Now, it's not showing any buy cost because I haven't given it a buy cost. The reason I don't do that, I put in a buy cost usually, is because I find that buy cost changes depending on what store I'm in. Now, over time, you're going to get an average, right? But this book comes up as an accept because it has a great rank, 36K. It has a great E-score. It's selling very, very quickly. There's not too many offers, only 81, which is not crazy. The used buy box, which is actually the price it's going off of, is $13.87. You can see over here in the left-hand column, these are all basically merchant fulfilled offers, and those are quite a bit lower. So you do still have a prime bump with a lot of these books. But again, like anything else, you have to take it with a grain of salt. And it shows you the weight down at the bottom, 2.92 pounds, kind of a heavy book. But if your buy cost was too much here, like you could go in and enter this. Let's say your buy cost was $1. Then you might not want to still get this if your profit's only $2.76. Like that, it's still coming up as a plus because if you remember, we put in $1.50 as our total that we were looking for in this range. So if we add another 50 cents to our buy cost. Now it becomes a reject because now we're not netting at least $250 on it. So it's only going to do what you tell it to do, right? So if you wanted to change over and look at a merchant fulfilled here, you can do that too. This screen shows you the breakdown of all the fees. You can see the referral and closing fees and FBA pick and pack fees and inventory storage for a month basically, and then inbound shipping as well. But if we change this to merchant fulfilled, it'll show you a different score at the bottom. It'll show you a 481 estimated profit. And then if we go back out, we see that now it says profit MF at the top, 481, and even with a buy cost of 150, it still meets our criteria of at least netting $2.50. So you can even change back and forth in the moment. You could just stay in merchant fulfilled mode if you wanted. You could scan all in FBA, whatever you want to do. So really it's really cool that it allows you that functionality when you're scanning books. But I'm going to go back and set it to fulfill by Amazon. And I'm going to take the buy cost back out because, like I said, I like to keep it at 0 because I like to see what the total profit is and then make a decision based on how much profit there is, what the e-score is, the rank, how many offers are out there, whether or not I want to buy the book. So let's look at another one. This one I believe will be a flat-out reject. So this book is called The Elimination Diet. You can see there. And we're going to scan that one and see what it comes up as. And you see it only comes up as 236. Definitely not enough profit there for this one. And that's before our buy cost, which we know is going to be something. So I would probably pass on this book. And it would tell me in the moment, like it would give me a sound that's just like a hard sort of no sound. It doesn't say no, but it sounds kind of like that, I think, in my brain sometimes. I've heard it thousands and thousands of times. And I would just pass on this book. I would scan it and move on. I wouldn't even think about it and give it another thought. And it's not a very profitable book, so definitely wouldn't sell that one. This one is called Hillbilly Elegy. Great title, right? So let's see what this one comes up. And we see in this one, we see a little bit of profit as well, 315. And remember, it's a 2K rank, so it's a great rank. And you'll probably sell it within a few days. And there's a lot of offers, and the e-score is great. It's selling a ton. The buy box is not super high. It's 1180. You can see the new buy box is 1569. So there's not a huge difference between the used buy box and the new buy box, about $4. And there's a little bit of profit there at 315. It's going to sell really quick. If I can get this book cheap enough, I would probably get it. Now let's look at a couple that are a little bit better. And this is where I think ScoutIQ can really shine. So this book is called Agile Software Development. So we will scan it. And we see this book has quite a bit of profit to it. Now this book is a 421K rank, which is a higher rank than the two we previously saw, but it's still pretty good. The e-score is 78. It's selling a lot. And you can see, here's what you love about these type books. Not only is the profit great, $34.92, but look at the merchant fulfilled offers there in the all column on the far left. They're very high, $31.57, $40.98. And the used buy box is $49.99. So at that price, it would net us $34.92. So there's a lot of room for profit there. Obviously, if we don't have to pay much for this book, we would get it. Even if we had to pay up a bit, $5, $10, it still would be way worth it. And, not a lot of offers either. 50 used offers is not too crazy because it's selling 78 is its e-score. And I kind of use a little quick trick to remember like how often it's selling. Like it's how many sales there's been in the last 180 days. So an e-score of 90 would be one every 2 days. An e-score of 30 would be one every 6 days. I kind of think about it in sort of multiples that way, and then look at how many there are listed. And this would be a great book. And let's look at one more. This one's called Motivational Interviewing, and we will scan it. It comes up here. My lighting sucks in here. And this one is also good. This one's a great rank, 7K. The used buy box is very high, $59.07. The Amazon sale price, $59.68. I'd probably price a little lower than that, actually, than $59.07. That seems a little high. But we still have huge merchant offers, $59 all the way up to $96. And this would be an easy profitable book as well. So that's how ScoutIQ works. It's very, very simple. I have scanned just on this iteration of it. You can see here, lifetime scans 22,570. I actually had to reinstall this because I had a problem with my phone, and really had nothing to do with ScoutIQ. But over the summer, I had on the other phone, I had about 15 or 20,000 scans as well. So I've scanned almost 40,000 myself. Karin has scheduled tens of thousands as well, and it really goes quickly, believe it or not. I mean, when you're scanning 500 or 600, 700 scans per hour, you can fly through a thrift store, you can fly through an estate sale, anywhere there's a lot of books, and if they're any kind of organized, they'll go fast. The Bluetooth scanner is really the way to go. It's much faster than you can use. The way I was just showing you was actually kind of slow. The Bluetooth scanner would just fly through them. But I hope that helps. Hope that you guys check out ScoutIQ if you're looking into getting to sourcing books. I think it's really a good program. It really has a lot of positive attributes. I really don't have any big complaints against it at all. It's allowed me to source hundreds of books per month, whereas before I probably would have only sourced a few dozen. So it allows you to scale your business pretty quickly. Try it out for 14 days if you want. There's that free trial period. You can use the database mode is pretty cheap, I think. They have database and they have database and live, and they have just live. There's one that's really cheap. It's like $14 a month. The full package, which I highly recommend, you get like $44 a month. I think you get a little discount on it, but it's worth it because honestly, the amount of time you would spend on the Amazon seller app looking this stuff up, you would spend way more than that. If you go scan 10,000 books with your phone and just your phone and Amazon seller app, unless you're an experienced bookseller, you are going to make a ton of mistakes and it's going to take you a ton of time. So I just decided to jump in feet first right away, and I'm so glad I did. So if you're interested in ScoutIQ, check it out down below. There's a link in the description of this video, and it helps me out too in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra, so I do appreciate it. But even if you don't pick ScoutIQ, or you don't do it from the link, or get a book scanning app, guys, because it will just revolutionize your book scanning, revolutionize your book sourcing. Anybody who does this professionally or does it at any kind of scale at all absolutely has apps, because it's just too much to do. You can't just eyeball every book and know if it's going to be good or not. I promise you will overlook good ones and you will think some are better than they really are. So check out ScoutIQ if you get some time, and tell me what you think. Also down below, let me know what you thought of this video. Give me a comment, or leave me a comment, and give me a big thumbs up if you like the content. All right, guys, Prof Sales saying good book finding to you.